You arrived looking for permission, maybe needing it to feel confident or sure. You've been waiting for it so patiently too. From a friend, from a boss, a parent, or a version of yourself that feels a little more ready. But what if the permission you're seeking was always yours to begin with, to give to yourself? One of these piles will shine a light on the permission you're looking for, and will show you how you can finally give that permission to yourself. My readings tend to go where the inner work is required, which is not always comfortable, but always useful. So if you're ready to notice or shift something in your life, welcome in. And let's spend a moment to settle into the reading today. I call upon my intuitive wise ones and your spirit guides to be present in this reading today, to illuminate the strongest messages for the highest good, allowing me to be a clear and neutral channel that is free of distortion, confusion, malice, and bias. If you're ready to choose your pile, the timestamps are in the description, or for those who would like a close-up of the soul paths today, let me do that right now. For Soul Path 1, we have Navigate Life with Determination. For Soul Path 2, we have Get Creative. And for Soul Path 3, we have Tough Love. When you feel called and ready, head into the description to click the timestamp for your reading, and we'll see you over there. For those who chose the red Salmon, Navigate Life with Determination, welcome into your message. There are cycles of death and rebirth with this card. There is also a return to home, or a return to something that feels familiar, maybe that feels like home. And a requirement to be determined in this effort. Something about moving against the grain or moving against the currents to do something that you would like to do, that you would like to attain. I feel like a lot of your life has been about following crowds, following trends, maybe doing what other people are doing. And this permission might be about you doing the thing that you've always wanted to do that feels different than what everybody else is doing. So swimming upstream. And with that swimming upstream, you are returning to some kind of soulful home. Something that feels like a true expression of your soul. You're no longer following. You are in alignment with your uniqueness, with your frequency, I'm hearing. And there is a determination required with that. Because there are going to be things that pull you off course, that pull you back into something that feels safe or known. So let's get into the cards now and see what this permission slip is all about for you for Soul Path 1. I want to get some clarification on the permission you are seeking, or what permission you are ready to embrace. It's Pentacle energy here, a lot of earth energy. It could be an earth sign. Nine of Cups in reverse. So something here feels like it's not been fulfilling or satisfying. You have been doing something in the hopes that it will fulfill you at some point. Or maybe if you just keep going or keep putting energy or effort or money towards this thing, that you will eventually find what you are looking for. But I feel like you're seeking permission to build something that is of your own strength, idea. But I'm also seeing a misalignment of values here as well. And a sense of your security or how you see security changing. So the King of Pentacles in reverse can be about a business person, somebody that's owned a business at some point, and not feeling like they are aligned with that business anymore. So again, maybe at some point in your past, you were doing something for money, but you want to do something that feels foundational to who you are, that feels secure in a way that isn't monetary. And something that builds wealth, but I feel it's wealth from a health perspective, from a lifestyle perspective, not for the sake of earning money and building up monetary wealth. Because I feel with these two in reverse, it feels like there was a disconnect or a dissatisfaction in doing that. So you're seeking permission to shift the business, to step out of some kind of role that you've been carrying, to close down a business and move into something else. This could be retirement for some. But it could also be just enjoying the wealth that you have built up to this point and looking for abundance in different ways, in new ways. So why have you withheld this permission? Permission to give this to yourself. We have the Four of Cups. We have the Wheel of Fortune with the Ten of Wands. So again, I'm getting that message of if I only worked harder, I could push through this dissatisfaction. I could create the change that I'm seeking, that I'm requiring. And I will eventually travel to new lands if I just keep pushing, if I just keep putting effort in, if I did more. But I feel this has almost worked against you because things haven't changed and it's simply just become more work and even more dissatisfying. I feel like you got wrapped up or sucked into the daily tasks or the responsibilities that you carried for yourself, but maybe also for others as well. There's an obligation here with the Ten of Wands. You felt like you needed to do this. Even though you may not have been fully satisfied, you felt like you had to keep going. And this could be due to some changes that you were moving through, but this could have also prevented and blocked the changes that you needed to make. And with this Four of Cups, I keep sitting on this Four of Cups. I keep being drawn into this Four of Cups. And it's easy to kind of see this bird flying off and having this freedom to go where they would like to go. But I'm actually seeing it from the person standing on the shore, looking out at this bird and having the desire for that freedom, having the desire to feel the wind beneath their wings. That song might be relevant to someone. And really spending the time reflecting upon how you want to feel. And I feel the way that you feel or aren't feeling is going to be something that you get a lot of information from. And spending time reflecting on that could be quite helpful. Reflecting on what needs to change or what you would like to change, what you would like to feel, and what changes follow that. So I want to see if you give yourself permission to let something go here, to live a new lifestyle, to find freedom or security or comfort or build wealth in a new way. What shifts? The Page of Wands in reverse and the Three of Wands in the upright at the bottom of the deck there. I feel like more options open up to you here. And I usually don't read the Page of Wands in reverse in that way, but because it's paired with the Three of Wands, this feels expansive. You are no longer tied to following a specific path of getting caught up in a singular focus. It's sort of pausing to reflect on what are my options, and maybe having multiple options, maybe having multiple things that are drawing your attention. And I say that because the Three of Wands here, there's multiple animals here. And the Three of Wands can be about manifestation, of taking pause to wait for the right moment to step forward. But it's also about being really clear on what you would like to manifest and create, and aligning yourself to that within your belief system, within your mindset, within your actions. And so this Page of Wands in this reverse is pausing to not simply focus on what is next, but pausing to reflect on what is possible in this space of not following a certain path, of going against the grain, of what you would like to build and create from a place of confidence and strength, from a place of vitality, from a place of internal stability, and doing something very different, of having multiple outlets, maybe multiple passions, multiple expressions of something, and doing something that is different than what's been done before. Not following a carved path, but creating one that is uniquely for you. So if you gave yourself permission to follow this path, this unconventional path, what would you do or not do next? What would you eliminate or start to express? And that is where you begin to give yourself permission. So that is what I have for you, my dear Soul Path 1. I'd love to know what meaningful message you're taking away today. And if you're sensing there's a little more to unpack, there's a link in the description to join my private collective and gain access to my booking calendar. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you soon. For those who chose the Screech Owl, Get Creative, welcome into your message. there's a feeling of blending in here, but there's also a tension of getting creative and standing out at the same time. There's a subtlety in this. There's a subtle expression, a soft expression, a quiet expression. And I wonder if part of your permission is about differentiation, about standing out in some way, or getting creative in solving some kind of problem. Maybe getting back into a creative practice, using your intuition in that creativity as well. Using your creativity to create an income from. Interior design is also coming through because this owl is in its home. And so there's a creativity within the home that's coming through, maybe within your self-expression. And I feel there's been a part of you that is suppressing something that wants to be expressed. So let's get some more information on, yes, Spirit can't be any more clear. Self-expression is a very strong message here. There's a playfulness, there's a creativity, there's your intuition. Do we need to carry on, Spirit? Yes, one more. So I feel like you are seeking permission. It's also about belonging too, coming through here. 7 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. So we have the Sun, the High Priestess, and the 3 of Cups. You want to be accepted for who you are, for your gifts, for your talents, for your creativity, for whatever it is that you'd like to express at any given moment. This doesn't have to be using it for an income to build a business. This could simply be showing up as your creative self, as how you want to express yourself that day through fashion, through your home decor, through your words, your spirituality, and being accepted for that. So there is a uniqueness to you, and there is something possibly connected to expression and intuition that you have been suppressing, because it's very possible you have been criticized for that in the past, which made you question and doubt what you were doing. It made you wonder if that was really going to work for you, if I show up as my true self, if I share my intuitive gifts, my creative gifts, my spirituality. Will I be able to find friends? Will I find home? Will I belong? I feel like you've done a lot of analysis on this because we have the 7 of Pentacles in the upright at the bottom of the deck. So I feel like you have been waiting patiently to figure out what's going to work. And maybe you have been accumulating something. Maybe you have been trying and experimenting with different things, different ways to soften your expression or to bring it in just a little bit in practical ways first to test the waters. But I feel your permission, this permission slip, is all about just doing it. No analyzing, going with your heart, and allowing the people to find you. Being joyful. And we have waterfalls in both of these, the High Priestess and the 3 of Cups. So it's almost like once you start expressing yourself in a way that feels creative, that's joyful, that is soul aligned or soul led, that feels like it's nurturing your soul, you will find like-minded people. It almost opens the gate. But it all depends on the environment you find yourself in as well. Because that pentacle energy at the bottom of the deck is coming through. What environments really support you as you are, and what environments don't. So again, coming back to that home energy, where can you be fully expressive? What feels like home? What spaces feel like home? What people feel like home? So why have you withheld this? I want to know more information. Okay. We have the Hermit. And we have the Page of Wands in reverse. Yeah. With the Nine of Swords in reverse. You have withheld this because you have been somewhat of a lone wolf. And you haven't had a ton of confidence in your vision. It's almost felt a little bit wrong. Maybe this creativity was suppressed at a young age. And it's interesting that the Nine of Swords is in reverse here, because usually that means worry in the upright, or stress, or cognitive overload, overthinking, rumination. So it's almost as if you kind of got pushed into a cave in order to relieve some kind of mental overwhelm or overthinking. So it was safer to be on your own. It was safer to not express yourself. It was safer to suppress your creativity, your desires, your passionate hobbies, or just your passions in general. So you have been somewhat of a lone wolf. You have blended in. You have stayed quiet. You have stayed small. But with that, I feel like you've gained a lot of wisdom from that experience. You have learned to manage your mental health to a degree because you've simply just eliminated people, places, things from your life. And maybe there's a safety element here as well. It wasn't safe for you to be who you were. And again, you didn't find the like-minded groups, the friendships, even the families, the supportive family. So you retreated. I want to know what shifts when you give yourself permission. Hello, Spirit, 10 of Cups. The Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah. So the 10 of Cups is this expression in community, this support in community, this belonging. But not just a belonging of people see me, people accept me, people support me, but this is felt within the heart on a deep soul level. This is finding people that feel like home, that you can just be with, that you can enjoy life with. So it is the Three of Cups, but it also expands beyond that, beyond the friendships. It becomes soul family, people that are ride or dies, if you will. And that phrase, I never use that phrase, but so that could be relevant to someone, where they stick with you for the long term, no matter what happens, no matter how you feel or how you show up. There is that support, that emotional support, that emotional reciprocity and exchange. mutual affection, mutual love. And the Knight of Pentacles in reverse tells me that there is a shift in focus and a shift possibly away from the past. I feel like there could be a family connection here because elephants can be about heritage and ancestry. So with it being in reverse, it's like it becomes a reflection. And it's something that is no longer active. You're not moving through that anymore. You are pulling away. You are pulling back. You are putting your priorities in new places. But also values. You are making decisions and moving differently. And really aligning yourself to you valuing your creativity, you valuing your personal expression and what your soul wants to create, rather than leaning on what is expected of you, the obligations, the family dynamics that are influencing this. And so your values, they don't shift, they just realign. And in turn, they realign you in this process. So something here becomes a memory, becomes an identity that you shed, and a movement towards this 10 of Cups. If we were to put these side by side, the elephant's going towards that 10 of Cups. And then the 2 of Wands underneath that just speaks to a decision to leave the comforts of where you find yourself. That may feel familiar and may be a space that has supported you in some ways, but no longer aligns. Your work is done. It's time for you to explore, to make new decisions, to expand. So if you gave yourself permission to express with pure joy and pure intuition, what would you express? And what needs to shift within you or within your life in order to do that? So I'm going to leave it here, my dear Soul Path 2. I'd love to know what meaningful message you're taking away today. And if you're sensing there's a little more to unpack, there's a link in the description to join my private collective and gain access to my booking calendar. Thanks for stopping by today, and I'll see you again soon. For those who chose lavender, tough love, this message is for you. I feel like part of your permission is either to dole out tough love or to receive some tough love. It'll be interesting to see what messages come through, if they're soft or if they are tough. Because lavender is usually something that lulls you to sleep, that offers something calming and soothing. And so it inspires this energy in our daily lives, or can. But it often means that there is something here to calm, to bring back into balance, and that might require some discipline from you, whether you are doling it out or whether you are doing that for yourself, giving yourself that tough love. So, there's also an element of compassion with that card too, which might be tough love, because compassion, it can be very radical when we are so used to being hard on ourselves and dealing with things and pushing forward and moving through the dramas and the challenges of life, how often do you give yourself compassion? How often do you allow yourself to soften and be okay being soft? That's interesting too. There could be a couple of narratives here, but let's clarify with the cards what this permission slip is all about. The World, it's a big energy. What is this permission all about? Seven of Swords in reverse. And the Knight of Cups. There's that emotion, that softness that I was feeling with the Hermit at the bottom of the deck. There's something here about giving yourself permission to share a big truth with compassion. I feel like it could be a truth related to a relationship or a path that feels very heart-led. And I feel you have been keeping this quiet or a secret. With the Hermit at the bottom of the deck there, it's been a quiet knowing. It's been knowledge that you've been carrying that you haven't quite shared or expressed to the world, to your world, whether that's community, friends, family. But this could also be a big shift that you would like to make in your life. And there's a truth being told about that big shift. This could be a cycle that you would like to bring to an end. Maybe not wanting to be alone. And you wanting to move forward in the realm of seeking a relationship or expressing something that could be very vulnerable or emotional to someone. But I feel whatever it is, it feels very big. It feels like it's the end of a chapter, a close of a chapter, and an opening up to something new. An opening of your heart, of not doing something alone anymore. And that could be in a difficult conversation. That could be expressing your needs or desires within a relationship. And putting an end to some kind of dynamic there. Okay. I want to know why you have withheld this truth specifically. I feel like there's a vulnerability in this truth. So I wouldn't be surprised if a card of vulnerability came through. The Empress is in the sideways position. So there's somewhat of a tough love energy coming through here. But the Empress is a very divine feminine energy of gentility and patience and the gestation of an idea. So maybe there is some challenge in regards to that divine feminine energy, which is about our emotional body as well. The things that we value, the things that we nurture, and that includes ourself. Okay, so we have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse here. Another bear. And we have the King of Pentacles in reverse at the bottom of the deck. I feel you give a lot of yourself to other people, and you don't prioritize your needs. Your time isn't valued. And so this almost feels like a boundary that is being set. Drawing lines in the sand of this is the truth, This is what I need, desire, require. Because your needs have been put on pause. They've been put on the shelf. With this King of Pentacles in reverse, again, I'm getting that divine masculine, divine feminine energy again, not jiving, not speaking the same language, not having the same values. This could be a part of you that wants some level of control or security. And there could be somewhat of a codependence here. Yeah, the Four of Wands at the bottom of that. So this could have to do with your foundations, your home, your financial foundations. I'm getting a sense of disempowerment in whatever this dynamic is. Whether it is something within you, you're outsourcing your value, you're not valuing your services, your gifts, your time, you're devaluing yourself in some way. So I feel this permission slip is about bringing back that power, balancing whatever dynamic is happening here, and creating a more stable foundation for yourself, something that feels like you are part of this equation, that your emotional needs are being met, that your truth is being heard, that you are able to do tough things and feel confident in that, feel secure within that. And I feel that is that discipline and that tough love that I was feeling, is that you being honest with yourself first, and then sharing that honesty with others, with the world. But also I'm getting the earth, which is Mother Nature, which is the Empress, that mothering energy. And with that bear kind of holding that earth. It's like that care, that not the caressing, but that care, that nurturing. And also valuing, protecting. You know, polar bears, I think are they close to extinction, or are they on the endangered list? So there's something about protecting yourself in this. Protecting what you value. Keeping your world healthy and whole. So what shifts when you give yourself permission to accept this? The Wheel of Fortune. This can be a card about destiny and fate, but it's also a choice that we engage with. It's also the change that we may need, even though it's scary, even though you're not really sure what's on the other side of this World card, of this ending. It's positive change. It is movement. When things change within, the external world changes in kind. And that can be really tough, because that means that there's no telling what's going to change, what's going to shift. And there's so many unknowns. It's like a domino effect. What's going to get pulled into this black hole? Although it's not a black hole. It is a... What is this? I'm blanking right now. A Milky Way? No. A galaxy? Somebody tell me in the comments, please. But this is the point at which everything changes. This, I don't know if it's a decision or a truth that you are coming to, that you are realizing that this is the truth and I can't change it. sharing that with other people, and then everything changes. I feel in a very positive way. Now, the Magician at the bottom of the deck in reverse is giving me this sense that there's going to be certain things that will be out of your control that may not be able to be created at this time. This almost feels like a recalibration or an ending that opens you up to new possibilities. And what is interesting, I'm looking at this tree. And this massive tree, it is and was planted by a single seed at one point. There wasn't anything fancy involved. It just got planted with what was available. It was nurtured. It grew into this massive thing. Now, when it's in reverse, and I'm looking at the swords, it's like the truth cuts this down. But I feel that's a good thing, because this particular tree that maybe you planted a while ago, way before this world, because if the world is the ending, this Magician is the beginning, or right after the beginning. It's like you're creating from a new space now. So this tree that was grown from this old identity, this old truth, gets cut down, and a new space can be opened up to create something new, to create space for something new to grow. Because new decisions with this Two of Pentacles are being made. You're bridging some kind of gap here. I feel like this is a complete shift in direction. And this change that happens with this truth, it might make you feel like you don't have enough to create, but that is untrue. It's simply that you're creating from a new space now. You're planting brand new seeds, and you're not going to know what these trees are going to look like. And that's okay. Allow the mystery of what's next to become. If you gave yourself permission to nurture yourself and to share a difficult truth, or to simply be honest with yourself, what would you do or not do next? What truth would you share? What changes would you like to make in order to act with your truth a little bit more? So I'm going to leave it there, my dear Soul Path 3. I'd love to know what meaningful message you are taking away today. And if you're sensing there's a little more to unpack, there's a link in the description to join my private collective and gain access to my booking calendar. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you again soon.